Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're going to untangle the story of a creature that's, well, spun its way into history and holds some pretty surprising secrets. We're talking silkworms.
Ah, yes. The tiny weavers of luxury.
Exactly. And trust me, we've got a mountain of research here, articles, historical accounts, all sorts of things. We're going to uncover why these little guys are so much more than meets the eye.
You know, it's always fascinated me how silkworms are one of those rare cases where the larva is more famous than the adult moth.
Right. You almost never hear anyone talking about the silkworm moth, do you?
It's like their fame gets, well, cocooned before they even reach adulthood.
There's a reason for that,
Yeah.
and it's pretty remarkable when you think about it.
The silkworm, as we know it, is completely a product of human intervention. Thousands of years of selective breeding have created a species unlike any other.
They're not just a domesticated subspecies like most of our farm animals. The silkworm, Bombyx mori, is an entirely separate species from its wild ancestor, Bombyx mandarina.
We've essentially engineered them into silk-producing machines.
And their dependence on us is incredible.
Absolutely. They can't fly. They can't even find food on their own.
Talk about a pampered life.
Yeah.
But it does make you think, right? This delicate balance we've created.
It really highlights the complex relationship between humans and nature, doesn't it? We shaped them, and in turn, they've shaped our history and culture.
Speaking of history, we can't talk about silkworms without mentioning that legendary tale of Empress Lizu discovering silk.
Ah, yes. The classic story. Picture this. Ancient China. The empress sipping her tea under a mulberry tree when, plop.
A silkworm cocoon falls right into her cup.
As it steeps in the hot tea, she starts noticing these fine, delicate strands unraveling.
Intrigued, she unravels the whole cocoon and discovers the pupa inside.
And just like that, the secret of silk was revealed.
Whether it's entirely accurate or not, it paints a vivid picture of how these chance encounters can lead to amazing discoveries. But let's move beyond the legends and into the science for a bit. These tiny creatures, they grow at an unbelievable rate.
Oh, it's astounding. In just a month, they increased their size by 10,000 times.
10,000, that's just mind-blowing.
And it's this rapid growth that makes them so efficient for silk production. Think about it. Their whole life cycle is about efficiency. They hatch from tiny eggs, then it's a constant eating frenzy.
They bolt 4 times as they grow bigger and bigger.
And then the grand finale, spinning those intricate silk cocoons.
It's like watching a tiny architect at work, meticulously layering those silk threads to create a protective shell for their transformation. But this is where things get a little, well, complicated.
Yes, the ethical aspect of silk production. The traditional method involves boiling those cocoons with the pupa still alive inside to prevent the moths from emerging.
It's certainly a point of debate, isn't it?
It really makes you think about our choices as consumers.
On the one hand, people find it unsettling, but on the other hand, some argue that silkworms have a much shorter lifespan than, say, livestock.
And that they're harvested at a less developed stage.
It's a complex issue, that's for sure. No easy answers.
And the conversation goes beyond just silk itself. Silkworms are turning out to be quite the versatile little creatures.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, for starters, they're emerging as, shall we say, unlikely heroes in fields like medicine.
Silkworms in medicine.
And even space exploration.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Silkworms in space. We've got to unpack that.
Absolutely. But first, let's talk about those genetically modified silkworms. Scientists have managed to get them to produce silk infused with spider silk proteins.
Spider silk. Isn't that supposed to be stronger than steel?
It is, renowned for its strength and elasticity. This hybrid silk is being researched for all sorts of applications.
Wow, so we're talking bulletproof vests made from silkworm silk.
You got it. But the potential goes far beyond just protection. Imagine lightweight, super strong cables for bridges, or even building materials for spacecraft.
Silkworms building our future cities and spaceships? That's incredible.
It's really remarkable what they're capable of, and then there's the medical side of things.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. What's the connection there?
Studies have shown promising results using silkworm powder in treating Parkinson's disease.
Really? That's amazing. Anything else?
And even preventing alcoholic liver disease in mice.
So they might protect us from bullets and help fight serious diseases. These silkworms are full of surprises.
They really are. And about those spacefaring silkworms.
Oh yes, let's get back to that. How do they even get silkworms up in space?
Well, back in 2016, a group of middle school students from Hong Kong actually designed an experiment that sent 6 silkworms to the Tiangong-2 Space Lab.
Middle school students, wow. That's impressive.
These silkworms lived in a special transparent container, munching away on a paste made from mulberry leaves. And get this, 5 out of the 6 actually spun viable cocoons.
So they handled microgravity pretty well. That's incredible. But why send silkworms to space in the first place?
Think about the future of space exploration. Lunar bases, Martian colonies.
Right, we can't rely on constant shipments from Earth forever, especially not for somewhere as far as Mars.
We're talking about creating self-sustaining ecosystems, and silkworms could be a key part of that.
I see where you're going with this. Silkworms are small, efficient, they grow quickly, packed with protein, and they don't need much to thrive.
Exactly. They could be the ideal space pioneers. A compact, protein-rich food source that helps us establish a sustainable presence beyond Earth.
Wow, who knew that the humble silkworm, a symbol of ancient tradition, could hold the key to humanity's future among the stars?
It really is a testament to the incredible potential hidden within the natural world, and we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to explore about these fascinating creatures.
Okay, you've definitely got me hooked. Tell me more about these incredible silkworms.
Well, let's start by taking a closer look at the silk itself. It's not just a luxurious fabric, it's a marvel of nature, with properties that are, well, pretty remarkable.
All right, lay it on me. What makes silk so special?
At its core, silk is a natural protein fiber spun by those silkworm larvae we've been talking about.
Makes sense. So what's it made of exactly?
Primarily 2 proteins, fibrin and sericin. Fibrin forms the core of the silk fiber. That's what gives it its strength and flexibility. And then you have sericin, which acts like a glue, binding the fibers together.
So it's got a built-in reinforcement system that explains why it feels so smooth yet so strong.
Precisely. And the way they produce these proteins is a marvel of natural engineering. Silkworms have these specialized salivary glands. We call them silk glands.
Silk glands, huh? What do those do?
Well, they secrete this liquid silk solution. And as this solution is drawn out through these tiny openings called spinnerets.
Spinnerets.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
It solidifies on contact with air, forming those incredible silk filaments.
It's like a tiny spinning factory operating inside these little creatures. It's mind-boggling. And you mentioned they're efficient, right?
Oh, incredibly so. A single cocoon, just one, can contain up to 1 kilometer of continuous silk filament.
A kilometer? Seriously?
Enough to stretch the length of 10 football fields.
That is a lot of silk. No wonder it's been such a prized material throughout history.
From ancient emperors draped in luxurious silk robes to the delicate fabrics we see today, silk has always held a certain allure.
It really is fascinating how something so delicate can also be so strong and versatile.
Hmm.
Nature's designs, always impressive. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about silkworm behavior. I mean, we've talked about their life cycle, their amazing silk production.
Yeah.
But how do they interact with their world, especially considering they're completely dependent on us?
Well, despite being domesticated, they haven't lost all their instincts. They're actually remarkably good at finding food, or rather, finding the humans who provide their food.
So how do they do that?
Remember those feathery antennae on the male moth?
Yeah, the ones that look like tiny combs. What are those for?
Those are highly sensitive olfactory receptors, picking up even the faintest traces of a pheromone released by the female moths.
A pheromone, like a signal.
Exactly. It acts as a beacon, guiding the males towards potential mates.
So even though they can't fly to find love, they've got their own unique communication system. A tiny love letter written in pheromones. That's pretty cool.
It is. And this ability, being able to detect and follow these pheromone trails, is crucial for their survival.
Yeah.
Especially with their limited mobility.
It's like their sense of smell is their superpower, helping them navigate a world where they can't see very well and can't fly at all.
And this sensitivity to chemical cues, it goes beyond just mating. Silkworms use it to find the most nutritious mulberry leaves as well.
Really? They're that picky?
They can actually distinguish between leaves from different mulberry varieties, and they've even shown a preference for those with higher sugar content.
Wow, so they're not just munching on whatever we give them. They're actually quite discerning.
They are. They've evolved to make the most of their situation, using their senses to ensure they're getting the best nourishment possible. It's a testament to their adaptability.
This is making me appreciate silkworms on a whole new level. They're not just passive silk producers, are they? They're active participants in their own survival, using their senses and instincts to navigate their world.
And their journey doesn't end there. We've covered their history, their silk production, their senses. But there's another fascinating aspect to them, their potential impact on sustainability.
Wait, sustainability?
Mm-hmm.
How does silkworms fit into that?
Well, they're incredibly efficient at converting plant matter into valuable resources. Minimal space requirements, their waste can be used as fertilizer, and of course, they produce silk, which is incredibly versatile and durable.
So, like tiny recycling machines turning mulberry leaves into silk and fertilizer. I like the sound of that.
Exactly. And as we face the challenges of climate change and resource depletion, exploring these sustainable options is more important than ever.
So we're not just talking about fancy fabrics and bulletproof vests anymore. We're talking about silkworms contributing to a more sustainable future.
Precisely. From biomaterials and biomimicry to waste management and circular economy models, the applications go far beyond traditional silk production.
That is truly inspiring. It's like silkworms are giving us a masterclass in sustainable living.
And there's even research looking into their potential to break down certain types of plastics.
Hold on. Silkworms eating plastic. That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
It's still early stages, but some studies have shown that certain enzymes produced by silkworms can degrade specific plastics, like polyethylene.
So, potentially tackling plastic pollution with the help of silkworms. Incredible.
It's a promising area of research, though more studies are needed to understand the full potential, but it highlights just how much potential lies within the natural world.
I can't believe how much ground we've covered. From ancient traditions to cutting-edge technology and now environmental solutions. It's amazing what these little creatures are capable of.
It really is. Silkworms are a perfect example of how something seemingly small and simple can have a huge impact on the world. But there's still so much more to uncover. Research that could revolutionize entire industries. One area that's particularly exciting is the use of silk in biomedicine.
Okay, we touched on silkworms in medicine earlier, but what's so special about using their silk in this field?
Well, silkworm silk is biocompatible,
Biocompatible.
meaning it can be safely used within the human body without causing harmful reactions. It opens up a whole world of possibilities for medical applications.
So we're talking implants, sutures, maybe even drug delivery systems.
Exactly. Scientists are exploring using silk to create everything from artificial ligaments and tendons to scaffolds for tissue regeneration.
Imagine damaged organs repaired using silk-based materials. That's incredible. It's like weaving the body back together with nature's own thread. What about those genetically modified silkworms we talked about, the ones that produce spider silk? Any updates on that front?
Research on spider silk is moving fast. Scientists are refining techniques to produce larger quantities of this super strong, super elastic material.
So we're getting closer to that world of bulletproof vests made from silkworm silk.
We are, and the potential applications go way beyond just protective gear. Imagine lightweight, ultra-strong cables for bridges, or even building materials for spacecraft.
Wow. Silkworms spinning our future cities and spaceships. That's mind-blowing.
It all comes back to biomimicry, learning from nature's designs to create innovative solutions. And speaking of space, let's go back to those silkworms in microgravity. I know you were curious about silk as a building material for space.
You read my mind. Could we actually use silkworm silk to build habitats on the moon or Mars?
It's a concept that's gaining traction. Silk is strong and lightweight, perfect for space construction. Plus, you could potentially produce it on site using silkworm colonies.
That's brilliant, cutting down on transporting heavy materials from Earth. Imagine astronauts farming silkworms for food and using their silk to build their homes. A truly self-sufficient system.
Exactly. And it's not just about practicality. Silk has this natural beauty and elegance that could bring a touch of humanity to those harsh alien environments.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thought. Silkworms, these tiny creatures we've domesticated for centuries, helping us establish a foothold among the stars. It's been an amazing journey, exploring the world of the silkworm, from ancient traditions to cutting-edge technology, and now the frontiers of space exploration.
It has been a privilege to share this journey with you. It really shows the power of curiosity and scientific inquiry. By exploring the world of these seemingly simple creatures, we've uncovered so much complexity, innovation, and possibilities, more than we could have imagined.
The biggest takeaway for me is that nature is full of solutions, just waiting to be discovered. And sometimes the most groundbreaking innovations come from the most unexpected sources. Who knew that the humble silkworm, a creature we associate with silk and luxury, could hold the keys to a more sustainable future, a healthier world, and even our expansion into the cosmos?
It's a humbling reminder that the natural world is a treasure trove of inspiration. By studying and understanding the wonders of nature, we can unlock incredible potential and shape a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come.
So next time you see a silk garment, or even just hear the word silkworm, remember the incredible story behind these creatures. They're a testament to the power of adaptation, the ingenuity of nature, and the boundless possibilities that await us when we open our minds to the wonders around us. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the silkworm.
Until next time, keep exploring.